Hi, I'm Liz Carter. Welcome to my channel, Making It Easy with Liz. Today we're going to Kumihimo. You're probably thinking, Kumawato? Kumihimo is the ancient art of braiding. They use these wooden apparatuses that look like stools, and they're called a murudai, and they make gorgeous, gorgeous cording for their samurai swords and their kimonos and other applications. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a more simple way of doing this. This cord here is Kumihimo, and this is satin rat tail. And you can see it's really gorgeous. It's very gorgeous. You could make curtain tie backs. You can do all kinds of different stuff with it. And this is with 2 colors. So let's go ahead and we're going to look at what it is, the equipment that we need for it. This is the Kumihimo disc. This is a small one. Whether you get the 6-inch one or this 4-inch one, they're both the same. They both work out well. This one's great for taking with you. It's very portable. And it's very, very easy to just toss in your bag and take with you elsewhere. So let's go ahead and examine the disc itself. All these numbers here, I don't care about the numbers. It's these 4 dots here that we want. We have north, south, east, and west. And we're going to put a pair of cords at each dot on either side of it. Okay, so cording. You pretty much can Kumihimo anything. We're going to use satin rat tail, and this is a 1.5 millimeter satin rat tail. You can use anything you want, just keep in mind how thick your cord will come out. So we want 8 cords altogether. And how do you determine the length of cords to cut? It is 3 times the length of your finished project. So if I want a 6-inch bracelet, I'm going to need 18 inches for each cord, and these are called warps. I'm going to need 18 inches of each warp to complete 6 inches, but that doesn't give me enough to tie my knot at the end and for finishing and whatnot, so give yourself extra. I would say give yourself a good foot extra, just for good measure. So I've got 8 cords here. I've got 7 red, 1 white, because I want to show you what kind of a pattern you're going to get with this. You can do anything you want. You can do 2 of each of 4 different colors. You can do all 1 color. You can do all kinds of, and I got some different examples here and how they come out. So here I have 2 colors, red and white, and you get this nice stripe pattern. And it's all in how you set it up on the disc. So here I have red, 2 red opposite each other, and 2 white, and that's the pattern you get. I have one here with 3 colors, red, white, and blue. And so here you see how I have it set up here. I have red and blue, 2 whites, 3 whites actually, this way, and then 3 reds. So my blue is just like a little accent color that gets peppered in, and that is the pattern that you end up with for that one. So what you want to do is when you set this up, we're going to get all of our cords together, and they don't have to be in any kind of order, but we're going to gather them all up, all the ends up here. Okay, so we're going to set up our disc with our cords. We're going to tie an overhand knot at the end. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick my knot down the center of the hole, and this is where you're going to start. So when you start Kumihimoing, you always want to be able to read what the Kumihimo disc says when it's facing you. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to place 2 red there. I'm going to, just for the heck of it, I don't know what I'm going to end up with, but I'm going to stick my white one here, and then the rest will just be filled in with red. So we're just going to pop these in there. Okay, so we have it just like that. So we don't care about any of the other warps, and these are going to move around the disc as we braid. Now what we need is we need a counterweight for the bottom part here. And that's where my little bunch of bananas come in. This is just anything can be a weight. You can have a little Ziploc bag of coins hooked on. It could be anything. It's just a counterweight to keep this from popping up. So this is just a tablecloth weight from the dollar store. So I'm going to come around here and I'm just going to hook that into my knot. Anywhere. It doesn't have to be through any amount of strands, just so that it's hanging down like so. Now with the satin rat tail, you really don't need to use your bobbins. These bobbins open up and you wind your cording around it, and it's to keep it from tangling up. I find that these are nice and smooth and you never really have a whole big old long length of them, so they really don't get tangled up. So for cording, for the rat tail cording, you really don't have to have the bobbins, but you really should have bobbins just in case you do end up doing one for a necklace. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take your bobbins and they pop open like this. This is where the extra cording comes in, because you need extra cording to wrap around your bobbin so that it will stay wrapped. So I'm just going to come in here and I'm just going to wrap, 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 close it up, and just let it dangle. Okay, so then we're going to go ahead and wrap, 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 and close it up. So you're going to do that all the way around. Okay, so I have one here already done up. This one here I have red, white, and blue, and I have a whole different configuration here. So I have red directly across from each other, and then a pair of blue and a pair of white, and we'll see what our pattern we end up with. But I'm going to go ahead and steal my weight off of there. I'm just going to hook it anywhere in there. Big paper clip works fabulous. Okay, all right, so that's what I have. That's what I end up with. And everything's in bobbins. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and get started on the actual Kumihimo part. Okay, I have my disc set up. So I have my warps on either side of the dots. I have my counterweight hooked up to my knot. I have my bobbins on my warps, and I'm ready to Kumihimo. So let's take a look at our setup here. Try to remember this. If you were to split this down the middle, there's a right side and a left side. And so when you are working on the right, you will keep that warp always to the right side of whatever warps it's meeting up with. Okay, so I'll just show you right now what we're going to do. So we're going to go, I start at the top, right. I'm going to pull out my warp. I'm going to bring it right straight down, staying to the right side of my warps here. And I'm going to put it to the right side of these warps here. Okay, so right down. Now I'm going to take this left one. I'm going to go straight up, and it's going to go to the left of that warp up there. Okay, so that's complete. Now we're going to do a left turn, quarter turn to the left. It doesn't matter whether you like going to the left or to the right. Just try to be consistent and try not to switch it up, just to stay consistent. Okay, again, it's this one right here. Pull it out, right down, and it doesn't need to pull so tight that it's going to rip this down. You know, shift everything down. Okay, so right down, staying to the right side of my warps. Left side, the far left one, straight up to the left. Quarter turn. And here we go. Right down, left up, quarter turn to the left. Right down, left, up, quarter turn to the left. And this is all you do. You just keep doing this. Right down, left, up, quarter turn. Here's something that a lot of people tend to do. And once you do this, it's really hard to figure out what you did wrong. But they will take this right here. They'll go right down and they cross it over like so. Don't do that. That will just mess it up. Just always remember, if you split this in half, you've got your right side warps and you've got your left side warps. So if you're working on the right side warp, you keep it to the right of all the warps that are down here. Left side goes straight up and it stays to the left of the warp that's up here. Okay, and so now it's just continuous, right down, left up, quarter turn. Right down, left up, quarter turn. Now, let's say you need to lay your work down and you need to go answer the phone or whatever. Here's what you do. You take your right one from the top, you bring it down, and you leave it like that. So now when you come back, you pick that up, you know that that third one down there needs to go up to here, okay? Because you always end up with pairs. So now you know that this one has to go straight up and then quarter turn to the left. This is kind of mindless work. It's really easy for your mind to wander, so that's when mistakes happen. So you can say to yourself a little mantra. Right, down, left, up, quarter turn to the left. You can even draw arrows on your disc like I have with this one in the direction that you need to go, if you need to do that. I naturally can just go to the left. It's easy for me to do. Now, let's say you put this down, you dropped it, you put it down, and you're like, oh my God, where do I begin? Where do I go? What you're looking for is, see this warp that's laying over these warps? That was this one that went over. So every movement is a warp that lays on top of two warps. So what you want to do is, okay, that one's laying over that way. That means I went this way, so I need to make a quarter turn. You always want to start with a warp that's laying underneath. So then we would know to stay. And it doesn't matter which side. It could be this side. It could be that side. They're both the same. It doesn't matter if you start on those. But you don't want to start on this one. See, it's not laying under anything. This won't go over anything. It will just make a mess. So again, where do I go? Where do I go? Oh, look, that one is laying underneath. So that's what we want to start. So now it's just right down, left up, quarter turn. Okay, so well, let's just see what kind of a pattern this is going to give us. And always keep your work straight up and down. Don't get lazy and come over here from the side and pull it over this way. That just gets you messed up. And if it's easier for you, use your right hand for the right side. Hold your disc with your right hand and use your left hand to do the left side. There's all these little tricks for you to remember. But just remember that they always stay on the side that you're working on and you don't cross them over. Okay, so I'll pull this down and I'll stop right there and see what's coming out the bottom there. Isn't that pretty? So let's see how that differs from this one. So it's a little bit different pattern. See, this one I have 2 blues in there. This one only has 1 blue. So it's just a little bit of a different pattern. So you just have to experiment with it. Okay, there are patterns that do use 12 warps, 16 warps. Oh my gosh, I've seen them for friendship bracelets that have up to 28, 30 warps. In that case, you would use like embroidery floss, something very, very fine, and you have very limited space on your disc to move around. Okay, so I'm not going to work on this one anymore because this is going to take me a while to get that one finished, but I'm going to grab this one here, our other red, white, and blue one. This one is now getting to be more bracelet size. So see, I have very little cording, but it's enough for me to tie a knot and tie off. So let me just do a couple more rounds here so that we can get some length. Now, always do extra Kumihimo. Give yourself like about, half an inch, 3/4 of an inch. That's going to get cut off. That's excess, but it gives you room to work when we bind this off and finish it and put our clasp on. Okay, so what you do when you want to end this is you're going to go ahead and end it all even in pairs. Come up from below and pinch your rope right there. And now I'm going to take and pop off all of my cords and pull it through. Okay, so this is what we end up with. Now, we're going to have extra, and we're also going to stretch this, and it's going to make it longer. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tie an overhand knot right here. So like so. Now what we want to do is we want to take this and we're going to pull and stretch it. And see what it does is it elongates it. It makes all of those little stitches in there tighten up. And now we don't have to worry about this stretching out. It also gave us extra length to work with also. So your cord does end up a little bit thinner, and it's nice and tight and compact, and we don't have to worry about it stretching. If you don't stretch cording after you're done, let's say you want an 18-inch necklace and you have a pendant on it, that's going to continue to stretch, and pretty soon you've got a 20-inch long necklace that you didn't know you were going to end up with. So that's what we want to do, is we want to stretch it. Okay, so that's the end of this video, and if you want to know how to finish it off, tune in to my next video on finishing and attaching your clasp. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you, and good luck with your Kumihimo. Bye-bye.